Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something we all deal with every single day, the ego. But the sources we've been digging into suggest that we have the definition, well, completely backwards.
Completely.
We usually assume a strong ego is, that guy in the meeting who never stops talking, dominating, loud.
It takes up all the air in the room. That's the common perception, yeah.
Yeah.
But the material we're looking at argues the exact opposite. It suggests that all that noise isn't strength.
What is it then?
It's a panic response. A truly integrated, strong ego doesn't actually make you louder. It makes you quieter. And specifically, it dissolves that compulsion to judge everything you see.
Which sounds nice, but maybe a little abstract. So let's ground this. If the ego isn't just arrogance, what is it actually doing?
Well, think of the ego less as a personality trait and more like a security system. Its primary function, psychologically, is just survival. It's there to create a boundary between me and not me.
Okay, so it's the bouncer at the club of my life?
A very, very stressed out bouncer. Because to keep you safe, it feels like it has to constantly run background checks on reality.
How does it do that?
It categorizes, it ranks, it compares. Is this person better than me? Is this situation a threat? It's trying to control the environment by just labeling it.
So when someone is being, egotistical or super judgmental, they aren't actually flexing power.
No, not at all. They're
Okay.
terrified. Judgment is a defense mechanism. The text explains that when the ego feels threatened, it creates a hierarchy. I am right, you are wrong, just to stabilize itself. It's an illusion of control.
That's a huge shift in perspective. But here's where I always get stuck.
Right.
If we stop doing that, if we integrate the ego, do we just become doormats? Do I stop having opinions if I start judging?
That is the #1 misconception.
Huh.
And the sources make a really hard distinction here between judgment and discernment.
Okay.
This is honestly the key takeaway for this whole deep dive.
All right, break that down for me. What's the difference?
The cost. Judgment is expensive, carries an emotional charge. If you judge a situation as wrong, you create a whole narrative. You get angry, you resist it. That just burns energy.
Right.
Discernment is more like data processing. It's immediate recognition. You see something and think, okay, that isn't for me.
So judgment is screaming at the rain for ruining your picnic, and discernment is just opening an umbrella.
Exactly. You respond to the reality, but you don't fight the reality.
Yeah.
When you shift from judgment to discernment, you aren't becoming passive. You're actually becoming more efficient. You free up all that energy you were wasting on outrage.
And I'm guessing that's where this concept of quiet confidence comes in.
Right. The text describes this state as self-worth that isn't negotiated through contrast.
Negotiated through contrast. That's a heavy phrase.
It is, isn't it?
Mm.
But it means I don't need you to be small for me to feel big.
I don't need you to be wrong for me to feel right.
Exactly. When the ego is fragmented, it needs an enemy to define itself against. When it's integrated, that need, it just vanishes. You stop reacting to everything because your identity isn't on the line every time someone disagrees with you.
That explains why the most secure people in a room are often the most observant. They aren't busy defending a fortress.
They don't need the external validation. If you know who you are, you don't need an audience to vote on it. The conflict just drops away because, as one source puts it, you stop mistaking difference for a threat.
It's interesting. We usually talk about trying to kill the ego,
Right.
but this suggests we just need to let it retire from the security job.
Or at least cut its hours.
So, to wrap this up for you listening, the goal isn't to become a monk who doesn't care about anything.
No, not at all.
It's to reach a point where your internal world is stable enough that you don't need to constantly rank the external world.
Well said. The disappearance of judgment isn't about detachment. It's about clarity.
And that leads us to our final thought to leave you with today. The text argues that true clarity is full presence without distortion. Huh. So consider this. Maybe you aren't judging things because they are bad. Maybe you're judging them because you're scared. If you stopped fighting what you see, what would you actually be able to see? Thanks for listening.